Guys, how are you doing? And welcome back to the channel. Guys, the other day I was at the Robert Mugabe Airport. I was just picking up my son there. I was coming from school. And so I had arrived there early, and as I'm waiting, there's a little bar next to the arrival place there, and I'm waiting there. And I see this man just opposite, or rather across from me, and I can tell that he's come from far, Diaspora, you could say. And I can see that he's got his like 2 bags there, and his carry-on bag, and he's busy looking at his time, and he looks like he's eager for something, And I can tell that obviously his visitors have not arrived yet to pick him up. So I'm just sitting there now, just ordering myself a water, and I'm having my water. And then he decided to just, come to me and says, Elder, how are you? Can I use your phone, please? And I said, yeah, why not, man? So I gave him my phone, and then he started dialing. And then before you know it, he's on the phone, and he's talking to somebody, and says thank you and gives me back my phone. Then we greet each other officially, and we just started talking a little bit, and we exchanged numbers. And then he eventually tells me that, his flight was delayed, and I don't know, so many stories that he talked about. And now he was telling me that his visitors were actually caught up in traffic, and then they would arrive soon enough to pick him. So we're just talking casually about Zim. And in a little bit, then somebody started screaming, behind the man, and I could see happiness all over the place, hugs, everything else, everything that is associated with somebody who is coming back from abroad. And I could feel happy for that man. Wadzoka, yay! Welcome back. And somebody was holding a camera. Home at last, somebody had written a small with crayon. I think it was a child or something. And then that was it for that moment, and I felt really full for this guy, and I said, wow, that is a happy reunion. And then they went away, and then I went to do my business. 3 weeks later, this man decides to text me. Hi, brother, how are you? We met at the airport. You assisted me with your phone. How is everything? So I replied, wow, brother, how are you doing, man? How is Zimbabwe treating you? How is it going? And then this man, over the phone, I could hear his pain, And I remember capturing some words he said. He said something to the effect of, he went into a grocery store in Harare, and he was looking at the prices, and in his head, I think he was comparing them to the prices of where he is coming from. I believe this man was actually coming from the UK. And so he was doing the maths in his head, and he literally said, I didn't think that I would come home to this kind of life, And then he said, did I come home really, my brother? Because it seems like I feel like I have come to a home that no longer knows me. So this is where the conversation truly begins, you guys, because coming to Zimbabwe is not a physical relocation. It is somehow a psychological collision, a cultural shock, if you may put it like that, an emotional wrestling between 2 devils, if you also can put it like that, like the diaspora devil and the home devil. And both demands your attention, and in the end, both demand your payment. Now, let's start with the devil the people already know. The diaspora has a lot of people on the internet, saying that, it's not always paradise in the diaspora. It's only paradise if you look at it from social media, But out there, a lot of people there's a lady that I watched on YouTube recently. They believe that life is orderly out there in the UK, for sure. And at the same time, it can be very cruel because the systems there, they work very well, but their hearts are always tired. And you earn strong currency, that's cool, but then you pay that with your loneliness, or if you don't have the right circles. You send money home, but you miss funerals, you miss weddings, you miss births. You need ordinary Sundays with the boys, Kwamerek. You become strong, but hey, emotionally, you'll be numb. You survive, but slowly you forget where to belong. And the worst part about this is you carry guilt like that passport or that visa that you are having in your passport, Guilt for not being home, for actually making it. Guilt for returning and failing to fix anything. The diaspora whisper devil is the one that whispers to you, you owe everyone. So when you finally decide to come back home, you can say, at least I'll breathe again when I'm home. But then the second devil kicks in. Man, that's a tough one right there. You see, guys, Zimbabwe is not just a country. It is an emotional memory for a lot of people who are returning here. The memory is dangerous because it is actually frozen in time. You remember the time when you left, probably when food was cheap and you had familiar faces, you had easy laughter with people, community support was always with you. But, you freeze that moment, but then you forget that Zimbabwe, whilst you were away, was also moving quietly, painfully, and without ceremonies, So the number one reality that will hit you when you arrive here is the economic reality. The first slap is financial. Prices here can change or appear to change from places. You go uptown right now and you can have a certain price, and you go downtown and you get another price. If you don't have the right advice, you keep getting slapped because you think that prices are changing. Policies also change without warning down here. Plans that you bring into the country can collapse mid-sentence. You discover that your savings bleed faster than you expected. Your business ideas, they meet invisible walls when you arrive here. Your small project that you thought you were going to do at home meets big resilience. Money here does not move in a logical sense. It moves emotionally, politically, as well as situationally. And suddenly, you are not the one who made it. You're just another person trying to survive. Another issue that you come home to, for sure, is social pressure. At home, people don't see your struggles. But when you're abroad, people see the car you arrive in, you like the way you speak. The assumption that you are rich is what is in the perception and the minds of the people, Your pain becomes irrelevant. You become, you'll be able to do it, Needs multiply, boundaries offend. Saying no becomes almost like a betrayal, and slowly, my friend, love becomes expectation. Now, another thing that you will face when you come down here is you are no longer fully diaspora. And at the same time, you are also not fully local as well. You think differently now. You question the systems around them. You expect accountability from everything that is around you. But Zimbabwe teaches you patience through suffering, And when you question too loudly, you're always told, my friend, so you learn to silence certain part of yourself that really hurts, Now, let me tell you a story many of you will recognize. a certain woman, I watched her on YouTube recently. I'm not sure of her name. She told of a story that she sold a house in the UK and her husband came down here and started making business remakombi, I think she said. And then they thought life was going to be easy. Walk through in the park. You should really look for this video, guys. At the end of the story, guys, I think the title is called Why Moving to Zim is Harder Than People Think. If you can just search for that on YouTube, you'll find it. You'll find the story. She tells the story of them literally running back to the UK, running away from Zimbabwe because they could not face this idea of life in Zimbabwe as they have experienced it as compared to what they expected. And another story, a woman came back from the UK. You know, let's just say this woman was tired and she invested in a small business. Family helped and then the money started coming in. But then opinions started to rise. Relatives became managers, losses were blamed on her for applying her foreign ways on business. And then the business eventually collapsed. And then the support just vanished. And then she says, one night in that video, she says, I was lonely in the diaspora. I was lonely, but Zimbabwe, I'm now alone. You know, that sentence breaks people's heart because home can reject you quietly, not loudly, not violently, but emotionally. It takes it away from you. So it hurts because Zimbabwe is not just land, it is identity. When when home disappoints you, it feels like betrayal by blood. And when the diaspora exhausts you, it feels like exile. You are trapped between two worlds, each demanding loyalty, each offering partial comfort, right? This is why people cry quietly. This is why some people return and then leave straight after. And this is why some stay and then die slowly inside, because the loneliness becomes conditional. Now, let me say this gently, but in a nicer way, but truthfully. Coming back to Zim is not for the weak. Staying in the diaspora is not for the soft. Now, both roads require courage. Both roads require sacrifice. The mistake is thinking that one devil is kinder than the other. The real question is not where is easier. The real question should be, where am I prepared to suffer with purpose? Because you see, every line costs something. Everything costs something. And the greatest tragedy is not struggling, but it is struggling without meaning. If you are out there in the diaspora, you know, don't romanticize home. And I admit, we on YouTube, we are guilty for this, for romanticizing home in many, many ways, in many, many videos that we make. But make a plan. So do not romanticize home. If you are at home, don't underestimate the diaspora. And if you are standing between both worlds, confused and tired, just know that you are not weak. You are just human. And your pain makes sense. Home, Zimbabwe is hard. Away is also hard. Just choose your heart, I guess. But choose it with open eyes, open heart, and deep self-respect. So guys, after several weeks in Zimbabwe, I eventually invited that guy I met earlier at the airport, and we sat at Landana's pub for drinks. And as I'm sitting in with him and I'm talking with him, there is something that I learned quickly from the guy. That, he has full of admiration for people who have stayed back home. Because according to his words, you guys who have waited it out in Zim, have adjusted and you can flow with anything, any tide that comes your way. Unlike us guys who are coming from the diaspora, we are too linear, he says. He says, I am used to complaining a lot and at suggestion boxes in the UK. But then if he makes the same complaints here about the services and the systems that are happening around here, he was in doubt that if anyone will actually open those suggestion boxes. He might be right. He might be right. I don't know whether to agree with that or not. But all I know is Zimbabwe is its own and diaspora is its own. In the end, this man has decided, though, that he's going to stay here. He has some ideas that he's working on, and he's recently bought land in Chihuahua there, and he says he's going to try and make the best out of this land because he's chosen his devil. Until we meet again, guys, it's bye-bye.